Super BasketBros. We are live. We are here. It's another gracious Sunday evening. I am your moderator, Denzel Snipes, aka Jay Nelson, and this is BasketBros. We've got a great show for you tonight. We will be touching on our legend of the week, which is Gary Payton. We also have our BasketBros What If. We're going to take a look in time and think, what do you think would have happened if Jordan had missed the shot over Craig Elo? Something to think about and definitely something to discuss. We also are going to be naming the top 5 players that were born from where we're from. And then also we're going to touch on Draymond Green and why he has yet to show up in the finals. So we're kind of cheating the system tonight. We're going to present day, but it is the NBA Finals, so we'd be remiss if we didn't at least touch upon it. But first, let's get the crew in here. Introducing first, coming from Atlanta, Georgia, he is the pundit's pundit. He's your favorite pundit's pundit. He's your mom's favorite pundit's pundit. He's your mom's favorite pundit. Come on in here, Jacob Christner. Let's go.
Hey, I'm trying to get a beard like you, but it would hurt too much. So I got to shave this tomorrow.
No, man, that's the Razor Ramon 5 o'clock shadow. You got to stay with that, man.
Mong.
I
can't do Scott Hall.
Yeah, well, okay, well, maybe it's a little less Scott Hall and more the 15-year disgruntled detective that 3 times divorced and overworked.
Oh, you mean like Jim Boylan?
There you go. And then let's also get in here from the other C-town, Charlotte, North Carolina. Will Vogel. Come on in here.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
This is Will after 2 days of not shaving. No.
I think you all are trying to, because the next guy coming in, which is our guest for this week, he is the Rocky Mountain Rebel Radical. I know he's on cloud 10 right now because his abs are in the Stanley Cup Finals. But you've seen him. He is he's got a blog on Sideline Sports, sports.scoop.com. He's doing big things. He's also a commentator on Confidential. Come on in here, Jordan Long. Get him in, Air Jordan Long. Let's go.
Hey, Jay. Hey, Jacob. Hey, well, yeah, just like Jay said, I'm still on cloud 9. At least finally the Stanley Cup Final will start on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens against the Lightning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm old enough to remember when the Avs actually made it. So congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been, 21 years since the last one?
Much.
So, and it's been downhill since the Salary Cap, and finally we got it done.
Absolutely. Well, let's go on and get into our first topic, and that is our BasketBros Legend of the Week, Gary Payton. Now, a quick rundown of his career. He was an NBA champion in 2006 with the Miami Heat, 9-time NBA All-Star, 2-time All-NBA First Team, 5-time All-NBA Second Team, 2-time All-NBA Third Team, NBA Defensive Player of the Year in 1996, 9-time NBA All-Defensive First Team, Steals Leader in 1996, NBA All-Rookie Second Team, NBA 75th Anniversary Team. In college, he was a consensus first-team All-American in 1990, Pac-10 Player of the Year in 1990, 3-time All-Pac-10, Oregon State Beavers number 20 retired, and United States Basketball Male Athlete of the Year. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame as a player. And before we send it to Jacob with his thoughts, he is the first and only point guard to win Defensive Player of the Year. That's how he got his name in the glove. So, Jacob, kick it off.
Until one other guy this year.
Who else?
Marcus Smart.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
Smart
Gave him the award. He handed him the award.
Yep, pretty much. Yep, that's right. So I'll take it back. He was the first point guard to win, of course. Marcus Smart won it this year.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Marcus Smart. But Jacob Christner, your thoughts on Gary Payton?
Oh my Lord. Well, one big thing about him was the fact that he was so aggressive against absolutely everybody. I mean, one of the things about Jordan is Jordan gave him respect. Jordan gave rarely anybody respect whatsoever. So he even gave him respect. So the thing about him is not only did he go up against your one, but if you ever saw a big guy dribbling, he'd go against him. You saw a forward, he'd go against him. Absolutely. I mean, he had this thought process of, it's like he is the size of that guy for the moment. So if he's going to go up against Muggsy Bogues, he's going to get down to the level. If he's going up against Shaq, he doesn't care if he gets run over. He was gritty. He was the combination of absolute star and talent and gritty. And that was the one big thing with him was just and I can say this right now, it would be very interesting to see if he was playing today, would he still be that? Would he go into the one-on-one players because not a lot of them do, or would he be like Larry Bird and be more of a free safety? Like that's what I see, because those are the things I say with Larry Bird. To just bring that up really quickly, is he was a free safety on defense and waited for opportunistic. I got to wonder, would Gary Payton be that opportunistic person on defense, knowing that one-on-one's really, and man-to-man's really not huge right now.
Right.
Unless you remember, unless you have an Ime Udoka and you have those, it's not huge right now. There's a lot of drives and a lot of threes. So what would he be doing now?
I mean, you're talking about a man who could guard 1 through 4, and
he would try 5. And he would try 5.
And he would try 5. Yes, he would try 5. Of course, often, he may get outsized, but I mean, it is what it is. But, just like you said, gutsy individual. He would try 5, but he could get 1 through 4 easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the things I wonder. I look at the thing of now, and it's like, as I said, I really believe he would be a unicorn now, because the Celtics, for instance, are a unicorn on team defense now. It's a lot of aggression. That's why they got to the finals in the first place. People have not seen that kind of defense in that bit. But individual defense, unless someone's got hustle, isn't really used. So he'd be a unicorn now. Right. It'd be a complete difference.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about so is it fair to say, you know what, we'll swing this to Will. And before you give us our thoughts about Gary Payton, let me bridge off of Jacob and bring it to you. Do you believe that this is a defensive player that could dominate in any era?
I think so. I really do. I definitely do.
Go on about your thoughts about Gary Payton.
So Gary Payton leads Seattle in all-time points, minutes played, assists, and steals. And ironically, he's third all-time in rebounds. And he's not even a big man.
That's nuts.
He also has the most games, field goals made, and attempts, and three-point attempts. In my opinion, he's the best defensive guard in NBA history. Easy. In NBA history, he's 5th all-time in steals, 10th in assists. When you mentioned he was the NBA all-defensive first team 9 times, he's with elite company. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett.
Yep.
And then also, when the Sonics moved to OKC, he said he doesn't want his jersey to go with. He'd rather not be associated with the team anymore in Oklahoma City. And he's working really hard to get the team back in Seattle. So,
yeah.
I actually watched Gary. I unfortunately I got the later end of Gary Payton's Seattle career, but I did mainly pay attention when he was with the Heat, with Alonzo Mourning and the young Wade. But Gary Payton was a great player, and like Jacob said, Jordan gave him credit. If you watch the Last Dance, you literally, when they're talking to Jordan, he said, "I have nothing but respect for Michael Jordan," and Michael Jordan doesn't give a lot of respect. It's hard to gain respect from Michael Jordan. But yeah, I'll swing it up to Jordan now.
Yes, the new team will be in Seattle in a couple of years. Yes, you're right, Jeff.
Yes, I'm betting on it. And it has to be the green and gold. It's got to be the Sonics, like nothing else. But yeah, we'll swing it over to our guest, Jordan Long. Give us your thoughts about Gary Payton.
Definitely. Well, you guys hit it on the head. Great defender. I thought, honestly, his court vision was phenomenal. He had averaged 6.7 assists per game. The one thing that I did not like about Gary Payton, not that, he was a great player, it was the fact that in 2004, he joined the LA Lakers. He was going for that ring with Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kobe Bryant. I absolutely didn't like that move. They got all the way to the championship, the NBA Finals. I think they lost in 5-6 games to the Detroit Pistons?
5.
But was it 5? Yeah. Well, if you look at that, the Pistons team, they were a team. This was just a bunch of superstars. We haven't seen that really work in the NBA hardly. I just think that was one of the worst moves he could have made. But like you guys have said, he didn't want to be associated with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was a Seattle Supersonic. And I think once and if Seattle gets, the team back, I really hope he's involved, which you guys have said he is, because he's one of the best players to ever play for the Seattle Supersonics, but definitely one of the best players to ever put on that jersey as a point guard. I mean, again, 6.7 assists, all defensive team. I mean, what can you say about this guy? Hall of Famer, one of the best point guards I've seen in my day.
You want to know who I would love to see Gary Payton with? I mean, of this era, Stephen Curry.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see it with Steph Curry because I personally, and I love Steph Curry. I think he's the greatest shooter of all time. I'm just saying this in the truth. My thing with it is, I hate when they call him a point guard, considering what he does with the shooting. I want him to be the shooting guard, and I want that point right there and doing defense. Then you give him the real position, and he's still hitting his 36, 38 a game, and you're or whatever. That's my point I bring. That's the point I bring. I would love to have seen that.
Yeah, I mean, we've all said it, Steph Curry has always been one guard masquerading as a two, but interesting question also relates to Gary Payton, and I'll just go around the horn here. That 96 Sonics team, if they run into anyone other than the Bulls, do they win a title? We'll start with Jacob.
Yes. Oh, no question. Yes.
Oh, for sure.
They were. Oh, yeah. They were. That is absolutely low. They're just faster than everybody else.
Oh, for sure.
They're faster. They're more athletic.
Sean Kemp, that team was bound to win one.
Oh, yeah. They were bound to win one. It's like the thing about it is the fact that the Bulls are just the best darn team in the world. Just whatsoever. But Seattle was number 2 in the world. Yeah. This is just the truth.
You were just running into a bullet train.
A juggernaut. Yeah, I agree.
I can't disagree.
But they were quicker than everybody else. They played defense. They were gritty. They had everything. So yeah, they win it without the Bulls.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan, what do you think?
I definitely think so. Again, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. If they run into anybody but Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and again, they absolutely win a ring. And George Karl was the head coach of that team. He wins a ring too. Yeah. We won't be saying that George Karl never won one. Came close with the Nuggets. Unfortunately, we lost to the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. But the fact of the matter is if they run into anyone but the Chicago Bulls, they all have rings right now.
Absolutely. And George Karl, and I'm sure Jacob could agree on this one. He's one of the great coaches that really don't get talked about too much. Anybody he ever ran into was just a better team. It's not that he got out-coached. It's not that anyone he ran into was just simply a better team. That's just dumb luck. You know what I mean? Or dumb misfortune, I guess.
Well, the thing you bring up about Karl is the reason that he's not given the credit is because of the stupid internet age. It's because of the dumb internet age. It is because he has his opinions on the internet. So all of a sudden people will say, oh, he was a crap coach, which is not true whatsoever. It's just he just has opinions that there are some players and some fans that don't agree. They look like an old man. But in the end, he's not backing down and he's not apologizing. But I lived all through his career watching it from 85 on. That was a hell of a coach.
Yes.
And every which way in a basketball mind. You just can't listen to the idiots on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because again, like they may take an opinion that they don't necessarily agree with, and they correlate it with your job, your profession, or what it is. You know what I mean? That's just like whenever, and I've expressed this on the Gauntlet. This is like whenever you express like something logical you know, and they may say, "Oh, well, what the hell do you know? You're a Jets fan or you're a Texans fan." Or it's like, okay, so just because I'm a fan of a down team, does that necessarily mean that takes away from my knowledge of sports or anything, you know? And so, yes, it is attributed to like the naysayers and the idiots on the internet. They seem to correlate everything to, you know, to everything about you in this. I mean, it's stupid, you know, but
Well, and he got criticized for actually saying that. I think it was in his book saying that Carmelo Anthony, if he would have been an all-star type player. I mean, he is now still, but the fact of the matter is we could have won a championship here in Denver had he played some defense. And that's not a diss. That's just the honest truth. And people took it as a diss
Not
to
only
Carmelo
defense,
Anthony.
but more team game, moving around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He jacked up that ball all the time, and it's like, and he was very selfish.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Melo, you know, is but at the same time, you know, I mean, when he like that at Syracuse when they won a natty, you got to know what you're getting into.
That's true.
You got to know what you're getting into. So it's like, hey, man, he's a hell of a player. I want him on the squad. Well, you know, he's pretty much him and nobody else. You know what I'm saying? You know, and, I mean, some players are just like that, and there's nothing that coaching, you know, could do. And then one, two things gonna happen. They're either gonna be great or sort of great, or they're gonna flame out. You know, I mean, that just kind of is what it is. But Carl was right.
We brought up the Avs earlier, the Avalanche. I was around watching it when the Bork won his cup. Bork changed his style, changed his everything and went to the team and changed up where he was and the way he played to win that cup. It's like there are few that will do it, but it's like I'll say this: Bob McAdoo, way back when we went to the Lakers, he was the absolute star with Buffalo. He goes to the Lakers but he was the Celtics once, and he goes straight to the Lakers, back up with the Lakers, and gets rings. And it's like gets rings, and it's like sometimes it takes just a different mindset, you know, just to put a different role. If you are not, you have to get through your ego. You have to go look outside of your ego to try to say if you want a ring.
Right.
You know, to say if you were the star and it isn't working, what can you do? And there's a lot of players in sports that cannot say that they can't be the leader. You know, it's like that they can just go behind somebody else.
And you know what? And seeing as that we're touching on Gary Payton, that's what Payton needed to do because he won with the 06 Heat. He was used to being the man, but he knew, and you know what? He was in the twilight of his career at the time period, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, listen, this is Shaq and D Wade's team, okay? I'm going to just come and contribute the best way I know how, and that's how he got his ring, you know? But he put his ego to the side. And at the time period, he'd already been in, 14, 15 years? So, yeah, I mean, he was that veteran role, that veteran leadership, you know what I mean? But he knew, okay, man, I'm still Gary Payton, but I'm not Payton from 10 years ago when we went and played the Bulls, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, even but you know what? It takes that type of player. It takes that type of player because there's some players that want to win and some players that want to win because of them. You see?
Well,
and I mean, and it's really no in between. It's like, that's the athlete you get nowadays. It's one of the two.
Well, that's the fans you get nowadays. That's the fans you get nowadays. It's like there are fans that literally want the cool guy or their choice before they can win. They want the cool guy in high school to notice them. They're the nerds that want the cool guy in high school to notice them. That is what fans are, and it's like they literally there are a lot of fans that would really, really not win with the quarterback that they did not choose. And a lot of fans act like that. So if the fans are acting like that, why wouldn't the players?
True. Okay. True. But yeah, we spent like almost 20 minutes on this topic. So yeah, we're gonna move on to our BasketBros weekly What If. So on May the 7th, 1989, at Richmond Coliseum in Richford Township, Ohio, it was the best of 5 series between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. And Michael Jordan received an inbound pass and hit the shot over Craig Elo to give them the victory 101-100. Now, the obvious answer is, what if he would have missed that shot? Well, they would have lost the series. Cool. However, I'm asking more as far as Jordan's legacy. You know, where do you think it would have started? Because people say it kind of started with the shot. You know what I mean? So our Bros, what if Michael Jordan had missed the shot against Craig Elo? Go ahead, Jacob.
11 years old at the time, by the way. but no, I'll give you one better. Should have been Larry Nance. Should have been Larry Nance. He pushed off on Larry Nance. Larry Nance had 2.6 blocks a game that year. He pushed off on. Watch the replay. He pushed off on Larry Nance right on the inbound pass and went to Elo. Should have been Nance getting him. So it's like that you take a look. That's absolutely what it should have been. But it's like as far as his legacy. No, I can say this. The biggest thing about it is it just would have brought Phil Jackson in one round earlier. And it's like the whole controversy of it was Doug Collins was moving up. They get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They get all that kind of stuff like that, and they're getting there, and then they move Phil Jackson in, who gets the same thing. It's like you might as well have had Doug Collins. But it just moved. I really don't think so because they probably. One of the things also is you got to wonder what might happen if Michael Jordan would have gotten mad at Pippen if they would have lost in the first round, for instance. Mm-hmm. Would he have got a different backup guy? Right. Would he have considered a different backup person? You know that Phil Jackson was going in anyway. But would he have had a different backup person? Would he have different people? He would have hated losing. You got to remember, he started his career 1-9 in the playoffs.
Jordan,
How desperate in his head would he have been? Would he have gotten rid of a Pippen at that time and tried to go get some stars? People talk about going the star route. Jordan says, I would not have gone after Bird or Magic, blah, blah, blah. We don't know because he went 6 rings. We don't know because he gets to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years before that. We don't know that because that is hindsight and he was already winning. But he was 1-9. What happens if he loses that first round? Does he whatsoever? Does he give up on a Pippen who was very young at the time to try to go get stars?
True. And you know what? And before we continue, mind you, that year that was a really, really, really good. They were 3 seed, but that was a really good Cavaliers team. Yeah. They swept the Bulls in the season series 6-0. The last game of the season. The Cavaliers beat them 90-84, and they rested their starters. They rested Ron Harper, Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, and Larry Nance. Chicago was a 6 seed. A lot of people would say, Jordan or not, Bulls had no business winning that series.
Right. Well, Jen, I wanted to answer Jen's thing here. The thing about it is you really have to realize how much the news, because this was straight off Bird and Magic. It was, you got to realize that you got to be all the way through 88 until in 89, this was Boston, LA, Boston, LA, Boston, LA, Boston, LA. I mean, over and over again. Michael continuing to lose. The news was asking all the time, is Michael just a scorer? Is Michael just a scorer? Is Michael just a scorer? Can he win? So, yeah, his legacy as far as star level started in 82. That is right. But the news absolutely wonder if he's just, does he have enough to win? Does he want? Can he lead the team? They asked that ad nauseum.
I'm going to go just slightly different from Jacob because I do agree. I'm going to say yes and no to Jen's question and hear me out. I say yes because of who he turned out to be. Yes, you can say it started with that shot. But if Jordan never became Jordan, if he was just a nobody, it would have been just a great college moment.
Yeah.
But swing over to Will Vogel, man. What are your thoughts about if Jordan would have missed the shot and just your overall thoughts about that whole moment?
Yeah, I'm going to give a real quick answer. Cleveland would have advanced to play the Knicks, and the Knicks were the 2 seed. Cleveland, you said, was the 3 seed. It would have been a really good series because the Knicks had Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Lenny Wilkins. The Cavs had Daugherty, Harper, Nance, and Price. And I think that would have been a really interesting series. I think it would have gone to 5 games. And it could have looked like I know it wasn't the Eastern Conference Finals, but it could have looked like an Eastern Conference Finals. So it would have been actually a pretty good series between those 2 teams, in my opinion.
Where do you think Jordan? What moment, or where do you think Jordan's legacy would have started had he missed that shot? We agree it would have been later on, but where do you think it would have started? Any answer is okay.
I don't really know, actually. To be honest, I don't really know. Definitely later, though. Definitely later.
Okay. Too much later or just maybe a few
No,
years?
not too much. No, not too much. Maybe a year or two.
Okay. That's not too bad. All right, let's swing it over to Jordan, our guest Jordan, man. Give us your thoughts.
If he does miss that shot and Cleveland goes on to win that series, all it does is he misses the bad boys for a year or two. Now, does he?
Ooh, good point.
Because you look at that team,
point.
Isaiah Thomas. I mean, he never liked playing against those guys. And of course, if you guys watched the Last Dance, he even said the reason why he bulked up was because he was getting pushed around. Does that happen if he, doesn't get the bad boys for a year or two? I still think he bulked up because he still wants to win that championship. Beat them so they can win a championship. But I just think he misses the bad boys for a year. As for his legacy, it starts after he beats the bad boys in the NBA playoffs.
True.
I actually agree with that.
Well,
true. I mean,
and that's true that. But I bringing up the Nance thing earlier. Pushing off during the when they threw the ball in the inbounds pass. That just showed just how intelligent Michael Jordan was as an overall player. The whole court. Taking off, pushing off Larry Nance, right up the guy who leads the team, leads the league in blocks. Basically, he's a blocks guy. It's like, how do you know that? Especially had an incredibly long wingspan that he could cover court so fast. How do you know that if he leaves Nance alone? If he leaves Nance alone, how do you know Nance doesn't come from behind or come right from the side and swat the ball?
True.
And it's like, and that's the thing about that. And then if he doesn't leave him alone, Nance does swat that ball. It is, and then it is another year.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
Go watch that highlight. You'll see him push off with Larry Nance to get over there.
He got open, and Elo just happened to be right there.
Mm-hmm.
It was, and the thing about it is it was a good contested shot.
It was, yeah.
Jordan hit a tough shot. He hit a tough shot over, and Elo's no slouch neither. I mean, But I mean, he hit a good contested shot. I mean, I guess that's what made the moment like even greater. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because Elo played the best defense he could. I felt he played the best defense he could, and Jordan just still made it. Like there was nothing more. I mean, did y'all see anything different? There was nothing more Elo could do.
No, not at all. He had a hand in his face and, contested the shot. What more could you ask for? Pure shooters make those shots, and that's what Michael Jordan was, pure shooter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But no, the main thing about it is where we're at is overall, it's not going to last much longer. Maybe another year, maybe extra. It isn't going to last much longer because in the end, he still wanted it bad enough. But again, like I said, how much does it change? It's like at that point, he literally would have made him 2-11 in the playoffs if they, and all that kind of stuff. It would have made him like 2-11 or 2-10 or something along those lines, because he ended up winning every series after that. But it would have put him in a thing. How desperate does he get to go get some players? Especially when they're that close all the time and they're starting to win games in the regular season now. This isn't the 32-win team that makes the 8 seed and gets slapped by the Boston Celtics. This isn't that anymore. They're getting better. They could go get some players. But you got to wonder how much he would have had to go get an extra guy.
Right. Now, also consider the Bulls weren't exactly juggernaut status at that time period because they were a 6th seed.
Well, no, understood. But it's like I said, the other years were like 32 wins, 34 wins, 36, those things. Then they're starting to get 50. Then they're starting to get everything. It's like maybe it's not juggernaut status, but it's getting better.
But it's getting better. Very true.
When you start to see it, you can go get some players.
Absolutely, and I mean, because you got to look at that Cleveland team back then too. Like the Bulls had no business beating them. They had no business beating them, But that's the mindset of an underdog. Is sometimes they don't know that they're not supposed to beat you. I said it on Sports Arena. But we're at the midway point of the show. And Jacob, let us know about Score No Score app.
Oh boy, Score No Score. I tried playing this. I actually played it before we did it today whatsoever. Just tried taking a look at all that stuff and remember those days. Remember those times when I was doing the World Series between Houston and Atlanta and losing every bit of my tokens that they gave me. Just trying to guess if someone would score because of course Atlanta's not going to score that inning. Wrong.
Yeah.
Of course, the Houston will come back. Wrong. So yeah, I lost them quick. But basically, as Dom will call it, it is gambling for dummies.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easier version. It's the idea. You basically get it from the iPhone app or you get it from Google, and you go to that thing, you bring it up, they'll get you tokens at the beginning, and then if you gain them, you're good. If you lose them, you put some money in, but you give yourself a chance. And I definitely recommend something like this because it's kind of fun. It's like it's $5, $10, whatever amount at a time, and you get some tokens. And if you get hot, you won't have to put any in for a while. And if you don't get hot, well, that's your fault.
That's like what happened to me on that app.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it is in your app store, whether you have the iPhone or an Android. Go to Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download Score No Score. It's really fun. But let's get on to our next topic, and this is pretty unique, but and actually pretty tough also. Top 5 players from where you were born.
I couldn't think of anything.
No. But you know what, Will? This is going to be interesting because, okay, it said where you were born, and I was like, okay, so am I going the city or the state or whatever? I'll go first. I'll keep it short.
I did state.
I didn't have too many people. See, I did the same thing. I did state. So as far as like really good to great players like born in Texas, I came up with 3. I came up with LaMarcus Aldridge, who also went to the University of Texas. I got Chris Bosh, who's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and Jimmy Butler.
Nice. Those are good 3 ones. A lot better than me.
I got
Jacob.
I cheated. I kind of cheated. I remembered a couple of them, then I had to go through the rest. I cheated on the thing, but Isaiah Thomas.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas.
Chicago. I'm Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre was Chicago. Remember, he went to DePaul. Then you've got, by the way, Patrick Beverly now.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Patrick Beverly right now. You got that. I mean, this type of era and stuff like that. You got AD, Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ayo Dosunmu.
Oh, wow.
Derrick Rose is from Chicago, I think.
Yeah, you didn't say Dwayne Wade?
Yeah. I'm just saying I'm giving 5. There's a pile. But we got to remember, it's like going by say, but obviously. And you know, it was so, and here's the thing. It was, with the whole Dwayne Wade thing, that was an unfortunate deal because he should have been a hero in Chicago.
He should have been, but oh man, dude, you talk about greats from Chicago. Man, D Wade is.
Oh no, you got to realize and you got to understand that these are things because I'm having to go through the names, go through all that stuff like that by itself. I had 2 in my head immediately, had to go through. So yeah, I'm going to forget Wade a little bit. There's a bunch of them.
Oh man!
I also came from like the 80s, and so you remember Illinois, University of Illinois, Kendall Gill.
Yeah,
and then,
I remember Kendall Gill. Yep.
Yeah,
Gill was a Hornet.
Yeah, yep. I can tell you another from Quincy, Illinois, who only played off the bench and didn't get many minutes, but Bruce Douglas, Quincy, Illinois. He played for 3 years in Sacramento. So it's like I wasn't gonna say he was the greatest ever. But no. I was just trying to come up with names in my head who came from
Chicago was the basketball state for sure.
Illinois is the basketball state.
Question.
Illinois.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So who'd you have?
I did not mean to forget Dwayne. I just like there's a lot of things, and I had the 2 in my head from the older times. So
gotcha.
Yeah. But there's a pile.
There's a lot. Well, just like Will said, and we talk so much about New York, and it being a basketball mecca, Chicago is right, pretty much the Midwest. You know what I mean? But definitely Chicago. There's some legendary ballers to come up out of there.
Oh, you have to. Illinois by itself is basketball state, and and you've got to realize Quincy was a monster in its time. Quincy was a monster. Quincy used to play Chicago teams and absolutely dominate them. And at the time, they won 64 straight in 81-82.
Crazy.
And wow. And 64 straight. They had like 6'10" guy named Michael Payne at 15 years old. They had, Quincy was like Chicago of a 40,000 person thing, like little Chicago. They were a monster. I mean, you would have to see just how good they were.
Quincy, that was the school. Hey, what was that? Who was the dude? It was on the ESPN 30 for 30. The guy that got shot and killed.
Benji Wilson.
Benji Wilson,
Yeah.
Benji Wilson.
Benji, rest in peace.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Will, who do you have for yours?
So the common misconception with my friends and people is I was born in North Carolina. In fact, I was not. I was born in Stamford, Connecticut.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you a list of 4. Rick Mahorn.
Okay.
Michael Adams.
Okay.
Marcus Camby.
Oh,
I've got love for Marcus. Of course, he played for the Nuggets.
And this one's for love of Jay. Calvin Murphy.
Yes! Yes! Widow's Peak and all. I thought you were, because you were born in Connecticut, but what state do you really claim?
Oh, shoot.
Connecticut.
I claim New York, but not really.
Oh, it's from where you're from. Is it in the New York metropolitan area?
No, I'm from Stamford, Connecticut. It's between New York and Boston.
Oh, okay.
But I lean towards New York because I have family from New York.
Okay. That's not bad.
Hence why I won't be on the show next week.
Oh, you're gonna be visiting family. That's understandable. Jordan, what about you?
Well, the two guys that pretty much are the top 2 right now. One's playing in the NBA Finals. Derek White, born in Parker, Colorado. Mr. Basketball, as we like to call him here in Colorado. Chauncey Billups, or Mr. Big Shot, definitely still lives in Denver. A lot of people don't realize that he has a house. I think it's somewhere in the Denver metro area. Could be one of the suburbs. But after that, I mean, there's not a whole lot of guys. There's Joe Klein, basically bench player. Derek Martin, bench player. And then a coach who's actually on Monte Williams' staff, and that's Michael Ruffin. Otherwise, it's just mostly Chauncey Billups and Derek White.
Huh. Yeah, that's I actually went to a list. Let's see, NBA and ABA players born in Texas. Craig Elo was born in Texas. We just got done talking about him.
For Houston. He was a bench for Houston.
He did. He sure did. Mike Dunleavy was from Texas. Let's see here. Yep. Let's see here. Going down the list. Grant Hill was born in Texas. How did I miss him? But yep, he was born in Texas. Steven Jackson, I knew that. I knew he's from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. DeAndre Jordan's from here in Houston. As a matter of fact, he went to is it Elsick or Hastings? I think he went to Hastings High School down in A-Leaf, which is the area where I'm from, and everything. So, but yeah, just some really interesting. Now, Will, I mean, if you had a list for North Carolina, who would have been on there?
It'd be huge. Oh God, like MJ and a bunch of other dudes. I can't even remember who was born in North Carolina.
Well, technically, MJ was born in New York City. He was born in Brooklyn.
I don't even remember.
But he cut his teeth in North Carolina. So so Steph ain't on your list?
Oh, Steph's definitely on the list.
I was about to say that Steph ain't on your list.
Steph's definitely on the list. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to swing into the next topic, and that is, and I told everybody at the beginning of the telecast that it'd be remiss if we specialize in throwback basketball, but it is currently the NBA Finals, so we felt we had to touch upon a topic, and that is Draymond Green. Draymond Green has been a relative no-show in the NBA Finals. Kind of went into some.
Steph was.
He was born in Ohio. Sure was. But claims North Carolina, but Draymond Green is yet to show up in the playoffs. His wife kind of went into some controversy a few days ago, being critical of Celtics fans and such. But we'll start off with Will, man. What do you think is Draymond's problem?
So Draymond, I went through his stats, the playoffs, the last few years he was in the playoffs. I'm going to go through the stats real fast. 2012 to 2021, 2012 to 2013 season, he averaged 5.8, 1 point. Okay, I'm going to go points, assists, rebounds. So I'm not going to say it every time. So 5.8, 1.6, 4.3. 2013-14, 11.9, 2.9, 8.3. 2014-15, 13.7, 5.2, 10.1. 2015-16, 15.4, 6.0, 10.1. 16-17, 13.1, 6.5, 9.9. 2017 18, 10.8, 8.1, 10.6. 2018-19, 13.3, 8.5, 10.1. 2021-22, 7.8, 6.2, 7.0. But the reason that he's not going off is, I'm not saying he doesn't doesn't need to go off. Is he has Curry, he has Wiggins, he has Poole, he has Clay. But the problem is he's going against, I know Draymond's won multiple Defensive Players of the Year, and he's known for all defense and stuff, but he's going against Robert Williams, who's a great young defender.
True.
And he's going against a veteran in Al Horford. He's going against I don't know if you would call him a 3-and-D player, but Grant Williams.
Okay.
But, like, he can shoot it and he can play defense. So, like, there's a lot of pressure on Draymond. Like, not having Wiseman there kind of puts pressure on him because he's the only big man really there. I know they have Kevon Looney, and he's playing pretty well in this playoffs. But it's just he's going against Robert Williams and Al Horford, who are two really good big men who are both starting for Boston and just are out-rebounding him and out-hustling him.
Right. Man, excellent take on that one. Maybe because I agree, it does not, whether the Warriors win this finals or not, it does not take away from who Draymond is. I mean, people just have bad series, and it just might be he's going up against just a better opponent,
Oh, yeah. Robert Williams and Al Horford aren't slouches, even though Al Horford's up in age and Robert Williams is coming into his own. I want to say this is maybe his third or fourth or fifth year in the NBA. He hasn't been in the league long. Let's just say that.
True. Right. And what about you, Jordan? What are your thoughts on Draymond Green and why he's been ghost?
Well, if you look at it, he's still doing stuff on the defensive end. He's got 7.3 rebounds in this NBA Finals, and he has 5.8 assists. The problem with Draymond Green is I think Boston is getting in his head because he's usually the one that's dictating that, getting under their skin. It's going the opposite right now. And if you look at it, he just needs to stay out of foul trouble. 4.5 fouls in these NBA Finals. That's just not getting the job done. And like Will said, you have other scorers you can count on. They don't need a Draymond Green. They just need him to play a little bit of defense. But yet the Celtics are not letting him do that. I mean, yeah, sure, he's getting 7.3 rebounds per game, but he's not doing what he was doing in the Nuggets series in the first round, the Mavericks series in the Western Conference Finals. It's just not going his way right now. And I think he's just getting in his head a little bit because he's usually the dictator, and that's not happening.
Absolutely, he's not. And we know that. Okay, could Draymond, if he wanted to, get you 20? Sure, he can get you a triple-double. Don't forget this dude. Doesn't he still hold a record for most triple-doubles in like a NBA Finals?
Well, so, he averaged a triple-double in the playoff series.
Yes. You know what I mean? So, you're talking about a man who, but being a scorer is not his job. He is a distributor. He facilitates the offense. However, I will say this much. I think that he's going up against a better opponent, a tougher opponent than he ever has. And Jordan's right. I think he's just getting in his head because for the first time in his career, he's not dictating what he usually does. You see, Boston is a mentally tough team. Draymond's not going to get in their head. So now he has to find another way to win, another way to beat him, But also, let's not get anything twisted here. It's not Draymond's job to get you 25. That's Clay's job. It's not Draymond's job to get you 30. That's Steph's job. You know what I mean? He's still averaging 7.5 rebounds. He's still facilitating the rock. You know what I mean? He's still getting his assists. But we're swinging over to Jacob. What do you think is going on You feel it's a complete disappearing act, or is he kind of still in his role, or what's going on?
I brought this. We were looking for a fourth subject this week. I'll just be honest. And I came up with Draymond on this one. I appreciate you guys taking. And I'll tell you the reason I brought up with Draymond is because I'm seeing from fans. There's a couple that I know, and there's a couple that you don't. That it's just you see them online quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was saying that he was basically Ben Simmons with a podcast.
Oh my God, that
Wow.
is hilarious.
I mean, cute. You know, we said that. You know, but yeah, cute. But I mean, it's cute. It's a cute joke. But I get tired of this. This happens with every sport. You know, but yeah.
Because I know you're going to go off right now. I'm waiting on it.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to be Stephen A. here. I'm not trying to be Stephen A. and go, get a nice quiet. No, I'm not going to try to do that. But
Jacob's not a yeller for the audience at home. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I get so tired of that. And I'm talking about they do this with I mean, Chicago White Sox got to the playoffs last year, and all of a sudden, with some struggles, they were giving up on Tony La Russa, the all-time winner team all time.
Mm-hmm.
Winner all time. I get so tired of fans. I get so tired of the moment, the prisoner of the moment deal. It's like, this is why I brought this here. I'm so tired of this. Maybe there is some defense. Maybe his mouth is overloading his ass. Maybe it is doing that. Maybe there's a thing that he's doing wrong. And yeah, maybe it could be karma. He's kicked somebody in the nuts. Thank you, Jennifer. Maybe it was all, maybe it was all of that type of deal. But the reason I get on this is that the fans do this, which drives me nuts. You completely and utterly forget his past. So you can say results now, which guess what? 3 rings. Here's the thing. You say that about James Harden, but I've been doing that for 9 years with Harden. I've been saying this with 9 years with Harden because there's 0 rings and he's not close. And that's what I'm going with here. But you don't do this with Draymond. There's 3 rings and he was a big help with them. You don't say that with somebody who has a legendary career with a legendary team that has a dynasty team, and he was a big help with it. Yep. Saying those things based on the moment. And then they won to boot, and it was his big rebound that helped bring that back up. And it's like, as fans, we got to quit thinking like this. We got to quit. Maybe it's jokes, maybe there's everything, but we got to quit forgetting in the moment. Forgetting in the moment and doing everything is because it all leads to that's what leads to bad gambling. Like we're big in the gambling world right now as far as the thing. It leads to bad gambling. Oh, they lost, so people aren't thinking. Oh, they lost this time, so they're not going to get it the next time. They're not thinking any deeper than their ass. When they do something like that, you got to think. For one thing, it's the second quarter when you say something like that. There's still a fourth quarter coming. So those are the things. That's why I brought this up. Maybe he can go back to his triple-double. Maybe he'll have a bad rest of the series and he gets carried. But you know something? When you've done your job in life, you become like Peyton Manning. You know?
The last ring you won.
You go to Peyton Manning. Sometimes you just get into a world where you get carried because you've done all the carrying for so long.
True.
And you do the carrying for so long, and it's like there are players that you just – and it's like – and who knows – I mean, I'm not sure if Brady will get hurt this year or not, but who knows what happens with him if he goes to another Super Bowl. Who knows if it's a big running game that carries him? Who knows if he's 45 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if that goes? Sometimes you just get carried. There's nothing wrong with it. You've done your job.
To your point, Brady's first ring, he got carried. He had a running game in the defense.
Yeah, but that's my point. And his last one, he could. But I'm saying there's nothing wrong with being carried when you've done a lot of work for so long and done it on your end, especially when you have a triple-double in a playoff series.
And to your point, before you continue, I said that about Peyton Manning, the last ring that he won, and I'm sure Jordan can attest. I was like, this is the one game he doesn't need to be Peyton Manning.
That's
I don't care if you
exactly.
throw
I'm a
for
Panther
100
fan.
yards. Ride that defense, ride that running game, get your ring, and get out of here. This is the one game you don't need to be Peyton Manning.
100% agree with that.
And I'll tell you this, it's like people ask me, now that he's over in Pittsburgh, since I've been a Chicago Bears fan, people have asked me about Trubisky, and I always bring up Najee Harris. It's like, don't try to do what you did in Chicago. Don't try to do any extra than you are, considering you had a horrible coach. You've got the greatest coach now. You've got Najee Harris, who's probably going to go for 1,700 yards this year with a guy who can actually move now. So, you know something? Follow behind that guy. Hope he goes all 17. See if you get a playoff win. And I tell you, that is, see, don't do any more than that. It's nothing wrong with getting carried in any sport and anything whatsoever. Sometimes, guess what? If you're a cog on a wheel, there's nothing wrong with it.
You're still part of the machine.
Yeah, you're a part of a machine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's still a ring. It's still money, and you go with something that's your legacy.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. You know, and this is not, you know, to forget, because I'm taking it as Boston is just that great of a team, and I've said it. I said it on Sideline Sports. I said that Game 3 was going to prove whether Game 1 was a fluke or not for Boston. Boston won that game. So now Warriors fans and everyone can put to rest that Boston is a fluke. Dude, the series is tied at 2. If it wasn't for a Herculean effort from Steph Curry, it's 3-1 right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, good. And good. This is Steph Curry's series, and it's probably not going to be. Draymond's at all. He's probably going to be around the same. He might have 2 to 4 points the rest of the thing, and he might just get the rebounds and do a few assists. It might still be that way, and that's fine. But like I said, with the things that he's done in the other playoff series, in the other finals, getting his rings, you know something? Let it. Let it. You know, he might get another ring before it's over, and he might be the star of that one. You never know. You never know. You can have bad series. You're allowed. You're human. This is the problem with the fans' idea. You're supposed to be Superman. You're supposed to be Superman, and then it's all over. Your life is all over. And like the Magic Johnson thing, and then '85 he comes back. They come back and get it in Boston Garden to boot.
You know what? To your point, you want to know why the fans think like that? You know the exact reason why? Michael Jordan.
What?
Because Jordan went undefeated in the finals. So they're ingrained in thinking the greats don't lose.
Well,
but totally forgetting.
No, he was one. None of them have the memory that I got that he was 1-9 to start.
Thank you.
None of them. And it's like, and they don't have the memory of watching. And I've watched a lot of these news because I didn't have cable growing up. So they don't have the memory of the news and watching these people questioning if he can ever win a title.
And they also have ingrained the thinking because Montana went undefeated in the Super Bowl. So again, the greats don't lose. And there was a common meme that went around that said, Joe Montana would never lose a Super Bowl to a backup quarterback. You're absolutely right. He lost an NFC championship game to a backup quarterback. That being said, you cannot get ingrained because people forget, as great as Ali was, how many times was Ali world champion? So somewhere along the line, he lost the belt, right?
5 losses, 56-5. So yes,
he lost. And keep in mind, he had 5 losses, right? How many of them were way past his prime?
4 of them.
There you go.
4 of them. Yeah.
If he had retired when he should have, he's a 1-loss dude.
Well, see, you got to realize this too about Ali by itself. He had the most 15-rounders in history.
Yep.
15-round fights, and it's like he got to the point where he didn't have the same speed anymore, but he had a great chin. So this is what gave him his the Parkinson's, because he just took so much. He had a huge chin, and he had a lot of strategy. It was different from the guy with the footwork. So it's like he lost, but then he kept winning titles after that.
He did, and I remember an interview with Muhammad Ali. No, it was with George Foreman. And Foreman was saying, like, during the Rumble in the Jungle, he was like, man, that dude had me tired out. At one point, I caught him with what I thought was a clean shot to the chin. And he whispered in my ear, is that all you got? He said, I knew I was in trouble.
Oh, no, no, Ali beat the hell out of him. beat the ever-living hell out of him. This wasn't just I'm just going to let him beat, because the way that the way that the news and the way that the people bring it up, it was rope-a-dope and he just get whipped and then he got weighted. No. He absolutely outclassed out everything Foreman that night. He beat the ever-living crap out of Foreman that night. And it was the same with Liston. It's like no one really had a belief in Ali because Liston was just such a monster. But he was bigger than Liston.
Mm.
He was bigger than Liston, and it was like, this is a much bigger guy than people thought. It's just no one did. You got to realize where the camera was here at these guys. No one knew until the fight that it's back here, and he's bigger than Liston.
He's bigger than him, yeah. But we're in the final 5 minutes of the show. There's something I wanted to add to this, and we'll go around the horn real quick. Sure. What do you think? Because we talked about Draymond Green. What do you think is Klay Thompson's issue? We'll start with Jordan Long. Go ahead.
He's just been off. I mean, you have Steph Curry, you have Jordan Poole, and Andrew Wiggins just taking, most of those shots. I see what Klay Thompson is doing. He has a good look. Instead of passing it off, he shoots a 3 and it bounces out. I just think he's starting to get in his head, and the game in his head too. I don't know what's going on with him other than that. He finds wide open shots and he just clanks them. And those are shots that he should be making. I just think he's getting exactly. It's just in his head right now.
What about you, Will? What do you think?
I agree with Jordan, and I also think he's kind of rusty because he didn't play for 2 straight years, and he's finally getting back to that finals groove where he hasn't been to the finals in years. And I know the Warriors haven't been to the finals in years, but he was away from basketball for 2 years. Sure, I know he played a lot of the year, but the NBA Finals are different than a regular season game. There's a lot more pressure in the NBA Finals than a regular season game by 1,000,000%.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What about you, Jacob?
Well, he brought it up personally. It was out 2 years, so it's like you're getting your legs back. We could say, but here's the deal also. There's a difference, again, between the ones that, we'll say Chris Paul too, along with Harden. We'll just say those things. There's a difference between never getting there and being there and then having a bad moment. It's like we can't put the same. We cannot put them in the same on the same boat. We cannot put them in the same box. The ones that can never do it, and the ones that kind of blow it, and the ones that have had a bad moment. You can't put them in the same box because the difference is the next year around, it's most likely going to be the same with a Paul or a Harden or everything. And I definitely with Harden. But the thing is, it's good. But those are the points about it. But when you've won the rings and you've gotten there, you know what I'm saying? When you've gotten to that point, then when you get to that thing, you can do it again. Even if you're having a bad moment, you can get back and you can have another. I've grown with these guys. I've grown up with these legends that I've seen. You will have bad moments at times.
The Tragic Johnson game.
Yeah, and then in '85 you come back and you just destroy them. After game 1, it was basically after game 1, it was all the Lakers, and basically the Celtics came back on a buzzer beater in game 3, in game 4 basically, and that's what it was. And after that, it was they just destroyed the Celtics. No question.
If you recall, that we talked about that '84 finals when Boston won. Game 1 of the '85 finals was the Memorial Day Massacre, and they was calling it over then.
148, 114.
Yep. But then who won that series?
And it's like, darn good, if the Twitter was around there now, oh my God, they would have said, get rid of Magic Johnson, get rid of him, he's horrible. Go get Norm Nixon back. Oh my God, he's horrible. They would be doing it after game 1, and then look how much they destroyed him after that.
Right.
And then guess what? Bird gets to a bar fight, busts his elbow and his hand up, and it's like he had 23 a game, but I mean that wasn't the same as he was in '84. So It's like, you can have it's a difference. I mean, Bird by that time had 2 rings. See, Magic by that time had 2 rings and 4 finals. You are allowed, you're human, to have bad moments because they can come back. You cannot put in a box the same as the ones that never done it with the ones that are having bad moments. You can't do that.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Will. What were you going to say?
Nope, we're good.
Oh, okay. Jordan, you got anything to add?
I have nothing. No, you guys hit it on the head.
All right. Well, we have reached the end of the show. I thank everybody for tuning in to Basket Bros. I'd like to thank Jordan Long for coming on and being a guest. Thanks a lot, man. We do appreciate it. And
Thank you.
real quick, let us know where we can find you.
So you can follow me at SportsScoop1. I have a blog that I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts on Fridays at sports-scoop.com. I also have a show that I'm due on Fridays. It's called Under Review, which is now finally on the Sideline Sports Network. Of course, I'm on the NBA Carousel with these guys. I'm during the season, the NFL Carousel, and of course, on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, Confidential with Jay and Jacob.
All right.
Awesome.
And also our good buddy Will, who comes in the comments and such.
I'm here. I'm there.
I know Will's kind of I think what the Yankees did to the Cubs earlier, but
Which we will talk about that on the
show. We will be covering on Tuesday.
Sorry,
but
guys, by the way.
But that is the end of the show. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Basket Bros, and we will catch you next week.
Take care.